How to write in 4th grade. An informational prompt. Explain why the classroom job is a good job. Time needed, 4 days, 30 minutes. Materials needed, 1 lined piece of paper, 1 informational worksheet, class writing paper. We've written 7 pieces so far this year. The first 3 were related to the narrative. The next 3 were persuasive, and we've written 1 informational essay. All 3 forms have a predictable structure. A predictable structure makes it easy for you to write your thoughts clearly and logically. A predictable structure also makes it easy for others to read and understand what you've written. Today we're going to work on an informational prompt. Informational prompts ask us to inform the reader. We do that with different types of information. We describe, we explain, we compare and contrast, or we instruct how to. For our writing piece about an animal, we gathered information and described it to the reader. Today you're going to gather information about a classroom job and share information by explaining. Remember the structure of an informational writing piece. You begin by introducing the topic in your first paragraph, usually 2 to 4 sentences. Your second paragraph has 1 big idea, and you give evidence, explanation, and examples to support it. Your third and fourth paragraphs have the same structure as paragraph number 2. 1 big idea, and evidence, explanations, and examples to support it. In your last paragraph, you signal to your reader that you're done. Teachers often ask students to help out in school. Your writing prompt for this essay is, think about a job you have done in school. Explain why it's a good classroom job to do. Start by taking a piece of lined paper. Take 1 minute to write down all the classroom jobs you know of. Even write down the ones you haven't done. Your teacher will divide you into groups. Each group will be assigned 1 classroom job. They'll make a chart with all of the big ideas associated with this classroom job. Listen as the groups give their presentations to the class so you can understand how their big ideas are connected to that classroom job. Look at our charts of good classroom jobs. Choose one that you want to write about. Take 1 informational worksheet. Paragraph 1 asks you to introduce the topic. On the line for general, write down classroom jobs. There are all kinds of classroom jobs. It is the larger group. On the line for specific, write down the classroom job you are going to explain. 1 big idea that's connected to clean erasers is keep the classroom clean. I'm going to write this on big idea line number 1. Later, I'm going to make this into a sentence that I'll use to start my paragraph. Other big ideas are go outside and make friends. Both of these will be used as separate paragraphs. On my informational worksheet, I have to write details, explanations, and examples for each of the big idea. For keep the classroom clean, I could write down, some kids' asthma is bothered by chalk dust. Tommy has asthma. Dust builds up on chalk rail. Dusty erasers just make the board dirty. This is the information I would use to finish writing a paragraph about keep the classroom clean. I now need to write down things for my other 2 big ideas, go outside and make friends. For go outside, I could write, pound the erasers together and dust goes everywhere. Sometimes class is boring. It feels good to be outside. Once I went out in the rain. For make friends, never go out alone. John and I had a dust war. Once I went with June and she locked me out. I'm going to leave the last section for my conclusion blank. I'll write that out after I've written my essay. You fill out your informational worksheet. Write one big idea on each of the big idea lines. Then put explanations, details, and examples on the lines below each big idea. Remember, you don't have to write out complete sentences. You can write fragments. Last time, you brainstormed different classroom jobs. You chose the job you wanted to write about and brainstormed different big ideas related to the job. Then you wrote down explanation, details, and examples that go with that big idea. Today, you're going to write your essay. You'll use your informational worksheet as your guide in writing it. Before you start, go back and look over your graphic organizer. Make sure it's complete. Remember, writing is assembling all of the parts you created using your graphic organizer. If your graphic organizer is incomplete, it will make it harder for you later. Take a piece of the class writing paper. Write your name and date. In the section for writing skills, write 3 developed big ideas. Successful ending signal. Organizing words within and between paragraphs. The first paragraph introduces the topic of your essay. Use the first few sentences to explain the general idea of classroom jobs. The next few sentences will introduce the idea of cleaning erasers as a good classroom job. Here's one example. Oftentimes, students are responsible for important jobs that help the teacher run the classroom. Our class has 15 classroom jobs. We usually get to do the job for a whole week. One job that I like a lot is cleaning the erasers. Let me explain why I think cleaning erasers is a good classroom job to do. Notice how I use the wording from the assignment in my last sentence. Usually, people use the last sentence as the place to signal to the reader the specific topic of the essay. Older writers refer to this as the thesis statement. Now you do it. Write an opening paragraph that begins with the general idea of classroom jobs and then introduces the specific job you want to write about. The second paragraph is going to be about my first big idea. I need to introduce the big idea in the first sentence. This is called a topic sentence. Remember, in our animal information piece, the first sentence of a paragraph signals to your reader what the paragraph is about. The same is true for this essay. The topic of this paragraph is keeping the classroom clean, so I'll use it in my first sentence. I'll use organizing words to point out that this is my first big idea. First of all, cleaning the erasers is important in keeping the classroom clean. Now I use the explanations, details, and example and write sentences that explain what I mean about keeping the classroom clean. First of all, cleaning the erasers is important in keeping the classroom clean. Chalk dust builds up on the erasers. When the teacher uses dirty erasers, she just makes the board more dirty. As a result, dust falls off the erasers and drifts around the room or builds up in the chalk rail. In fact, Tommy has asthma and coughs a lot when he's in the front of the room. You write a paragraph about your first big idea. Be sure to use organizing words. Last time you wrote a paragraph introducing your topic and a paragraph about your first big idea. Your teacher has a couple of examples for you to look at. As you look at them, think, do they fit the structure of an informational essay? Can we make them better? Today you're going to finish the first draft of your essay. The third paragraph is going to be about the second big idea. It is constructed just like we did the first. The fourth paragraph is going to be about the third big idea. It is constructed just like the other two. Write 2 more paragraphs about your big ideas. Your closing paragraph has to do 3 things. First, it has to signal the end of the essay. Then, you summarize your ideas. And your last sentence or sentences prompts the reader to continue to think about your ideas after they've finished reading. A young writer can accomplish all 3 by saying, "That's my essay. What do you think?" Older writers will do it differently. One technique to signal the end of the essay is to echo your opening. By reminding your reader of the opening, they know that you're finishing your essay. You ended your opening paragraph by saying that cleaning erasers is a good classroom job to have. Echo that in your opening sentence. Cleaning erasers is the classroom job I like to have. Your next sentence summarizes your 3 big ideas in 1 sentence. I help keep the classroom clean, I get to go outside, and I get to be with my friends. Your final sentence or sentences tries to get your reader to continue to think about your ideas after they're done reading. One easy technique is to ask a question. What classroom job would you like to have? You do it. Write a closing paragraph that signals the end of the essay, summarizes your ideas, and prompts the reader to continue to think after they're done reading. Read your piece to yourself using a 1-foot voice. Does it make sense? Are there statements that are not complete thoughts? If a sentence is confusing, fix it. Go to the top of your writing piece, to the Writing Skills section. Did you develop your 3 big ideas using details, explanations, or examples? Did you use organizing words within and between sentences? Did you write a closing paragraph that includes all 3 requirements? Good job!